Welcome and thank you so much for being here tonight, everyone. My name is Whitney Ziegler. I'm the founder and CEO of Big Rocks Organizing. We are a small local women and LGBTQ plus owned company based out of Portland, Oregon. And we assist folks through life transitions, whether they want to stay in their home and feel more organized, whether they are moving, or if they have lost a loved one and they need to do an estate clean out. So welcome to our monthly series. It's called Ask the Organizer. And this year we are tackling your rooms room by room. So this month we're doing all the creepy, dark, creepy crawly spaces like attics, basements, and storage units. Oh my. So Maddie, one of our team members, Maddie Fallon, rhymes with Fallon, like Jimmy Fallon, is kind enough to host us in his home this month alongside Jess Cavanis, our operations manager, who's going to be behind the camera, but chiming in with some great tips. Thank you, Jess, for showing your face. We appreciate it. So we're going to dive in. We're starting in Maddie's basement. And then during the time that he and Jess are transitioning to the attic, I have a slideshow of some recent client projects that we can show you. We could talk about storage units, attics, and basements. And then we'll finish in the attic. Please ask questions as we go. Or if there's anything that you want Jess to zoom in on with the camera, just let us know. We want this to be fun and interactive. If you have burning questions, please feel free to ask at any time or put them in the chat. And with that, away we'll go. I'm turning things over to Maddie and Jess.
This is not dark and creepy and crawly. I've put a lot of work into making the basement not creepy. The crawl space, however, is creepy. That'll come later. So the first thing that I want to show you in the basement is, so what do we do with basements? Basements are where we store things that we don't want to deal with, right? So my goal has been to make it easy to find the things that I want to find that are in the basement that I don't want to be in the main living space. And so the first thing I did, which I did this years ago and I'm so proud of it, is this bin rack that has, first of all, I have this is my first big foray into organization that happened like 10 years ago. And it's getting this bin rack for all the little things that, it's kind of like an everything drawer in your kitchen, but organized and labeled and larger. So, for example, this clothes and sewing bin is for all those little bits of thread and buttons that you get when you get a new blazer that you don't know what to do with. They all go in there. And the bins get larger as you go down. So the smallest bins I have are random silverware, keys and locks, zip ties, clothes and sewing, furniture markers, incense and smoking. Then we get into vacuum attachments, things I call buffers that are like shims and furniture, kind of things that go between furniture, drill scrubber attachments, extension cords, and COVID stuff. Then the next row is just containers. This is kind of, I really like this idea because you always kind of need a container for things, like this nice Colonel mustard tin or Coleman's mustard tin. And so that's not to be confused with sacks and pouches, because every now and then you need a sack or a pouch. So these are all those things. And even things like happy birthday banners. I have two. Random plugs. Random cables. And so on. Down here I have adhesives that are not tape, which should not be confused with tape. And so on and so forth. They get bigger and bigger. So this was great, but I needed more because this is when I just had an apartment and it did me well, but now that I have a house, I have all kinds of house projects, and just you amass so much more stuff when you have the space. So follow me over here. Oh wait,
Maddie, before you move on, let's see if anyone has questions about your beautiful organizer here, or how you chose your categories, or how you set up this system. Does anyone have questions for Maddie? I love how your label maker is right on top there, very accessible. Your batteries. Okay. Love the towel bar on the ceiling, someone wrote.
The what? Oh, that's the
Oh,
lawn.
above your laundry area.
Yeah.
Yeah, perfect. I'm curious, where did you get this? Do you remember where you got it?
I can't remember, but probably Amazon or Uline. Maybe Uline.
This
Okay.
is a line type product.
Yeah.
But I would imagine that you could put this together with stuff at Home Depot as well.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. I love how your bins are open and you don't necessarily need to have each bin organized in and of itself. But everything's contained. It's easy to access, easy to put away, easy to see what's in there. And you can change the labels and categories as you need it. It seems really versatile.
Yeah, and it's not alphabetized because that's just a level too far of organization.
Excuse me.
Jess would alphabetize them and then color code.
There
Correct.
is no one right way to organize, as we like to emphasize here. Yeah.
We good to move on?
Yes, I think so. I don't see any question. Oh, someone says that IKEA has a system like this too. Thank you for sharing that. And I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing your name correctly. Gilia loves that you hung art on the basement walls too. And those are from your dad, right? Are they handkerchiefs from your dad? Is that what I'm remembering?
Yeah, it's my dad's handkerchief collection from the 60s. And this room was just too boring, so I decided to frame them all and put them up.
Love it.
Okay, we're gonna jump over here. So I found these on Craigslist. These are similar to those bins, but they're red and they're much bigger and they stack, which is so great. So those bins are on a rail that you can pull out like a drawer. These are bins that you stack. And so this is the largest size, and then medium, and then the small ones are over there. But we're not going to get to those yet. Now, you may notice that some of these bins have post-its on them and some of them don't. So the reason for this is that storage is really for two things. It's for items and it's for projects. And so everything with a post-it on it is a project. Everything else is just items. Items like light bulbs and things like that. But then this is a project because it's a ring camera that I haven't mounted on the ceiling yet. And so it's there with all the little mounty things that I need to mount it with. I just haven't gotten around to it yet. And so that makes it really easy for me to, instead of having my projects pile up on various surfaces inside the house or the dining room or my desk or the bed or the guest bed, then having them here with a post-it on it is a signal to me that it's a project I need to get done. Or if it's been there a really long time, I realize, you know what, I'm never going to do this, and I get rid of it. So that's what the post-its are. But again, it's not organized. There's not like one section that's all projects and one that's all items because it's random. That's too much effort for me to maintain. And so these are all kind of random things for around the house that I need. Some of them are like food storage bins. Some of them are clothespins. I got all these clothespins. Actually, I got twice this amount of clothespins, and the rest of them are over on my drying rack. And these I didn't need, but I didn't want to throw them away. So look, it's a bin that is perfectly sized for all those extra clothespins. So that's what's happening over here. Another thing you may notice is I like to hang on to containers. You saw before I have the sacks and pouches, and I have the containers, and these are bottles. Whenever I have these nice glass bottles or even tea tins, I think, you know, I may need to use that for something, so I store it here. But right before we started filming, I counted and I had 6 of these tea tins, and I realized I'm not going to use 6 of them, so I recycled 5 of them, and I just have one here.
Maddie, we have a question about your post-it notes. Do you put a date on them, and do you have rules for how long you keep a project before you decide you're not going to do it and you let it go?
No, I don't keep dates on them. I don't even write anything on the post-it note. The post-it note is just a flag because that's the maximum amount of effort I want to put towards this kind of organization. You may be different. You may be like Jess, and Jess might put a date on it and label it and then alphabetize it and then put it in color order. But for me, it's just a flag saying, "Oh yeah, this is a project." So that's all I do. Was there a second part of the question? Oh, how do I know when it's time to get rid of it? Honestly, the way that I know that it's time to get rid of it is when I have something new to go down here and I have no space left. That pushes something out. And that's what I actually did before filming today. I did it this afternoon when I realized I had stuff piled upon stuff and I had to get rid of stuff that I realized I'm not going to use and instead I'm going to donate.
So using physical constraints as a tool. Love it.
Which is probably not the best way to do it, but it's just, I don't know. I think it's important to give yourself a lot of grace in doing something like this. And so that's my method. And if my husband told me that he needed me to make room for some, I don't know, giant sculpture that he wanted to put down here, then I would abide and I would have less space to work with. But until then, I'm going to use all this space.
Yeah, and over organizing aside, I would probably only put the date that I put the project into a bin. So I'm not giving myself a deadline where I'm stressing myself out that I'm not getting it done. But as I come and I realize I need room to put something else, I can look and be like, all right, what's been sitting here the longest? And that could be helpful in decision making.
For me, it's just like whether I'm sick of looking at it or not. That's really what motivates me getting rid of stuff is, you know what, I'm never going to use this. Who am I kidding?
For me, I'll put dates on empty boxes of products that I bought. Like we bought a new Wi-Fi router and the warranty is for so long. So I'll put a note, recycle this box after such and such date, once the warranty expires or once you can't ship it back anymore, for example. So sometimes a date is helpful for me, but that's not really project related.
That's smart though.
Yeah, that makes sense. You may notice that some items are not in bins just because they're too darn big for bins, like this gigantic turkey platter. Oh my gosh. So, sorry. So for those things, I'm not going to put them in a bin because there's no bin large enough for it, and that's okay. Also, things like, well, they're all really big. Like this cake transporter, it's kind of too big. But I still have Post-its on items that are projects that are too big to put in bins. So if we look over here, this is a project, this is a project, and I thought there was, oh, this thing over here is also a project. You can tell it has a Post-it. But other than that, yeah, so that's extra storage for things that can't fit in bins. Now, another thing that I wanted to show you is organizing long, tall things that would otherwise fall over. For example, wrapping paper. So I have this very impractical glass heavy vase that I didn't know what I was going to do with, and now it's my wrapping paper station. Oh, and I got these very nifty wrapping paper cutting tools that I've actually never used before. Let's see. Okay, let's try it. Ah, there we go. See?
Ta-da!
Anyways, I saw it online and it looked cool, so I bought one, and that's where that goes. So that's one way to store long things that fall over. Another is all these little pieces of trim and other kind of housey things like this tension rod and this dowel. I realized I didn't really need a trash can over here, and so it's just in there leaning against something. But they're all together, which is nice. And then if we look over here, I have This is everything that is wrapped up, that's not wrapping paper, like fabric and posters, and I have a rug in here, and butcher paper, and posters as well. And so that's a place for those to all go when they're not, because I need a place for them to go. Moving on, I also wanted to show you, this is for wine storage, which clearly we don't drink that much, but it's also good for SodaStream bottles, and so I have that for that. And then this I'm very proud of. When I bought all those other bins, I got these tiny bins that I didn't know what to do with, and so I found these racks online, and now I have these racks for all these little items. So these are things like, I got these IKEA bookcases that came with all these extra pads and brackets and things to secure it up to the wall, which I never got around to. And so I don't want them to be lost, because maybe one day I'll get around to it. So that way they're all contained there. Oh, this reminds me, something that I'm a big fan of is having a bin for random hardware parts that come with products that you don't use. For example, you buy a ring light and it comes with a tripod that you're not going to use or something. So, wait, you don't have to turn around. I'll bring it to you. Okay. This is random hardware parts. So you amass a lot of these things. Oh, actually, here's that tripod that I just mentioned that I wasn't using, because actually now I need to use it because I changed my office. See? So good thing I held on to that and didn't throw it away. Here, I'll put it down. Along those lines, I realized in doing projects that having a screw that has a cap on the end of it, like this, is important versus having a screw that sinks into something, because the cap holds it to the wall. For example, like when you're mounting this kind of thing to the wall. And so I spent one afternoon and went through all my screws, all my random screws, and put all the cap ones here. No label, because I didn't want to get around to it, and I don't know if I'm ever gonna change this, but I know where it is because it's an eyeball level. So those are my hanging bins, and obviously these are some projects I'm gonna do. And then, if we move over here, this is art and photo storage. So all kinds of, my dad gave me this picture of my mom looking glamorous, and I don't have a place to put it yet. And so it's here. And here is other photos and stuff and art and things that are framed. They're all here, and it's really nice to have a place for them to all go so I can ignore them, really. And then we have our storage over here, but I want to direct you to these two boxes. This is my donation box. It's just what it sounds like. So I realize I need to get rid of this. I'm not going to use this coffee bean grinder, so it goes in there along with all these other items. And once it's full, I realize I need to donate it. And then this is my day trip box. This is for summer, and I've got things that I need for a day trip, like a beach towel and a cooler, an insulated cooler, and a beach seat thing, and my water shoes, and a sarong, and things like that. And so that makes it really easy when I decide I'm going to Rooster Rock for the day. I just go to my day trip box, and everything I need is there, rather than having to rifle through my drawers. And I think the last thing, well, I have a pegboard, which I guess is basement-y. This is kind of tool shop-y. I'm not doing anything new or clever here, but it's great having a pegboard. I love it because all my tools go there. And what's nice about this one is it has cups for things that you may not be able to hook. Like this stud finder doesn't have any way to hook on anything, so it just goes in this cup. So pegboard is great for that. And oh, my workstation is a rolling island from IKEA that I bought off someone from Craigslist. There's like random screws that I have. And then the last thing I think I want to show you is paper storage in the guest bathroom down here. If we go over here, turn off that light and turn off the heater. So we've got toilet paper, like stacks of toilet paper, stacks of Kleenex, stacks of paper towels, and stacks of paper plates. And so that's where all of that stuff goes that doesn't fit in the upstairs bathrooms. And I think that that is my basement.
Right, thank you so much, Maddie. Does anyone have questions for Maddie so far? Seems like a quiet group tonight. Thank you so much for the tour. And while you and Jess are moving up to the attic, we have a slideshow of recent projects, and we'll just open it up for questions as well. And if anybody has questions about their own storage unit, basement, or attic, please feel free to share, especially if it's a question that might be applicable to someone else who's here tonight. They might be struggling with the same challenge. All right, well, feel free to ask questions at any time. Gilead, do your bins ever travel with you, like power tools or bins of whatever? We will wait till Maddie's back on camera and then we'll ask him your question. That's a great one. Thank you. Okay. Jean, could you go to the first slide, please? All right, we're going to talk about storage units, which can be kind of controversial. Some organizers strongly feel that no one should have a storage unit, but I think realistically they can be helpful when folks are in transition, or if you inherit things from loved ones and you don't have room in your own home, and perhaps you are grieving and not yet ready to process and go through those items. I think they can be really helpful. They can also be very expensive, as we know. It can range between $50 to $300 a month. One time, our team helped a family. The parents moved here from California 40 years ago, and they put all of their items from California into storage that wouldn't fit in the home. So they had 3 pods, or the precursors to pods. They were wooden vaults, maybe 9 by 9 by 9. And the family over the decades had lost track of what was even in storage anymore, but they had probably paid over $30,000 to store those items. And so they asked our team to open everything up and go through it and sell what we could, donate what we could, rehome what we could. We did an inventory, sent them pictures of everything, and it was really fascinating. It was a lot of mid-century modern furniture that was in perfect condition, and 95% of it was, we were able to sell it. So the family could stop paying the storage bill, which was great. Let's see here. So we have a question in the chat. Are there alternatives to plastic storage bins? Yes. Elizabeth says yes. And Susan says that she has photos and negatives that need to be kept in temperature controlled storage as her apartment gets hot. Yes, that's definitely something important to think about when it comes to storage is climate control, and our basements and our attics can definitely have temperatures that fluctuate. There might be moisture, dampness, mold, there might be critters in there as well. But let's go back to the question about alternatives to plastic storage bins. There are definitely cardboard. There are some made out of bamboo. Something too that our team is looking at for the future is 3D printing bins, because you can create the custom size that you need, and you can print them from sugarcane and corn. So they are biodegradable, but they're also pretty resilient. So as long as they're not, sitting out in direct hot sunlight, or you're not dumping them in a bathtub or something, they'll hold up okay, but they're still kinder to the earth than plastic. Does anybody else have any other alternatives for storage bins that they like to use or that they would like to try in the future?
I don't have an alternative. I do want to point something out though. So over the weekend, I guess I can come around. I decided that it was time to organize my photos. So I went through everything and I had them in cardboard boxes. However, the closet that they live in now has a fire sprinkler in it. And they went off last winter and I was like, it just missed all of the boxes and it went off very quickly, so it wasn't a big deal. However, if it had stayed on for any length of time, those would have probably all gotten ruined. It's like pictures going back to like 1910, so I would have been really upset if that happened. So
Yeah.
as much as I try to avoid plastic, sometimes it is a safer option for certain things.
Right, for waterproofness. And Marion also asked a great question in the chat. Would the critters eat the corn-based bins? I was thinking these bins would be more for inside drawers, which would be inside the house. So good point, Marion. Sometimes plastic might be the easiest way to go to keep out the critters and the water. And we can go back to the slides. I'll turn things back over to Jess and Maddie, but we do have a question, follow-up question for you, Maddie, about your bins in the basement.
Yes.
So do your bins ever travel with you, like power tools or bins or whatever?
No, for me to take my tools around, I actually got a cleaning caddy and just a plastic cleaning caddy, and that's where I keep all my tools in to travel with them. But all of those bins, they don't have handles. They're not really designed to be moved around. They're just designed to stay there and they're stackable, so they just sit there. And so
I
that's
will interject though, I have my camping bin. Everything to go camping is in this bin and I literally pick it up and put it in my car and I don't have to go through a checklist or make sure I have everything, because come back from a camping trip, replenish everything that's in the bin, put it away, grab it and go when it's time again. So some things it works for.
Yes, I use that big plastic clear bin that is my day trip bin. I just throw that in the back of my car when I'm going on a day trip somewhere because it has everything I need, like Jess.
Okay. And the comment too is that they store their stuff that way too, but it's hard to see what's inside. So maybe their bins are not clear bins. Those can be really nice to be able to see what's in there. Thank you. So is this the crawl space?
This is the crawl space. It is creepy crawly, like you were saying. So there are things that are covered in sheets, like my very spooky Halloween candelabra and other Halloweeny type things and other holiday items. But the things that I wanted to show you are, first of all, we like having a wreath on our door for fall, which it's September. I think it's probably time to put one up. Okay, so I have a wreath keeper, which is wreath size, and not only does it hold my fall wreath, but it also holds my Halloween, my here, my large paper Halloween decorations. Like this fold-out skeleton and this fold-out witch, because they're just big, and where else are you going to put them? I also keep my my stockings, my Christmas stockings in here. What's nice about this is that it's a big container for oddly shaped holiday items, and everything in here is an oddly shaped holiday item that's big.
Hey, Maddie, may we borrow your Halloween and fall decorations for our 10-year anniversary Halloween party coming up next month?
You didn't tell me it's a Halloween party.
It
That's
is. It's a Halloween theme. And we'll
Oh,
tell people more about it at the end tonight.
okay. Yes, you can.
Oh,
And
thank you.
sorry, it's loud. To show you is this is my Christmas ornament container, and this is for our nicer ornaments. I really like birds. I want to have one day a tree full of bird ornaments, and so in here, we have our Christmassy things. Here are my vintage ornaments that my parents gave me from the 70s, and then lots of bird ornaments. And these are all segmented. Oh, and these little handles, you lift it up, and there's more bigger birds, as you can see. And so this is how we organize our most prized ornaments, and those go on the tree first. And then with all the extra room, I have a drawer system, which I'll show you. Okay. This is my drawers of ornaments, and you can see, sure enough, it's a drawer full of ornaments. So these are like second tier ornaments.
Gotcha. Question. We think that the ornament storage is pretty nifty. Where can we find that?
Oh, where can we find it? That's a great question. Jeremy brought it into my life, and I don't know where he got it because I wasn't there. But this
We'll
this
have to look it up.
Yeah, I think I just Googled like for the
Bag.
wreath bag, and I found that. And actually, it's made of the same material as my leaf bag. So I might have bought it at a company called Wreath Bags and Leaf Bags.
And that includes the red ornament holder as well, do you think?
No,
No.
the red ornament holder, I mean, this is nice. It's like kind of got this shiny stripey thing going on. It's probably from what, oh wait. Ultimate Christmas Storage.
There you
Oh
go.
no, it's from the Container Store. $79 from the Container Store.
Ooh. Well, it is lovely. Marnie also said that the Home Shopping Network, CVC, and Amazon all have holiday storage items. Thank you, Marnie.
And that's kind of what I wanted to show you.
Okay. And then are you two transitioning to the attic?
Nope, the attic's the bedroom.
Yeah,
Okay. So this is the attic, which
this
is
is the attic and this is the
Thank you.
crawl space.
perfect. Thank you so much, Maddie, for showing us like over time all of the levels and rooms in your home. We really appreciate it. Does anyone have questions for Maddie about the attic? Not seeing any questions right now. I might go to our slideshow and that might prompt some other points and questions. Unless Jess or Maddie, have you thought about anything else that you wanted to share with our audience tonight?
Oh, one thing that I showed in a different segment, but I am really good about hanging on to manuals, and I have a manual file box for every floor because there's 3 floors: main floor, attic, and basement. And so in the basement, I have an open file box which has all the manuals for everything that's in the basement. So that includes the laundry room, the workshop, which is just a corner of the basement, and the rumpus room and the guest bedroom down there. So yeah, something I'm proud of that I would have shown off to you if I had the wherewithal.
No, thank you. I think you showed it off in your application when you applied to work with us, and there was a previous one where we went over your laundry room and you showed us it's a really neat solution, and thank you for doing that. And I love the fact that you use the term rumpus room. Rumpus room.
It's for rumpusing.
Exactly. Well, thank you again. We'll transition to our presentation here, but if you or Jess think of anything else any other tips that you'd like to share with folks, please feel free to jump in. Okay, we're going back to this storage unit. Jean, if you want to go on to the next one. So this is a before and after. This was a smaller storage unit that a client had in the basement of their condo. Just cleaning it out. Okay, next slide. If anyone has questions at any time, or if you have questions about your own projects, please feel free to jump in. This was a project where a client had multiple storage units because they had to shut down their business and they didn't have a lot of time. And so everything just got shoved into about 4 different storage units. And they were tired of carrying the load of paying that monthly storage bill. So we went in, and in one day, with help from a couple of movers, we, pulled everything out, photographed it, inventoried it, and then we were able to give the client a spreadsheet of everything and help her determine where everything should go, what should be sold, what should be donated, and we helped her track all of that. So this is kind of a before. The after is more of an in progress. At the end, we got it up from 4 storage units down to 1. This was for a nonprofit organization. They wanted their items. First of all, they had to move from one storage facility to another one. And then 2, they just felt like everything was in chaos and they couldn't find what they needed. They had multiple program staff accessing items and they couldn't get to certain things. You could see some things are blocked by tables and other furniture. So when we were done in the new space, everything was labeled. They had a map as to where to find things. Team members could put things back in the same place so that things didn't get disordered again, and it just saved them a lot of time and energy. We also did a lot of right sizing and let go of things that they weren't using anymore, and they donated them to other nonprofits in the community. Next one, Jean. Aha, basements. Next slide, please. So this was a basement. You can see where we started at the beginning of the session and where we ended up at the end, where they could use the space and find what they need. All of the bins are labeled. If anyone has questions as we go, please don't hesitate to ask. Next slide. This is actually, I think, the same basement, but a different part of it. Again, just kind of the disarray, a little bit of chaos, not being able to access everything or see what people had, and then kind of calming the chaos, creating work zones and workspaces and labeling things, being able to find things as needed and able to use and enjoy the space. Next slide, Jean. This is a basement laundry room, and this client had mobility challenges, so we needed to keep the floor accessible and clean. And this was actually in the process of a move, so we did a lot of right sizing, and we were in the middle of packing. On is the after shot that you see on the right-hand side. And thank you, Kathy, so much for the shout out, saying that it's amazing what we've done. Thank you. That's very kind of you. I want to just generally talk about basements, attics, and storage units, that it's really helpful to think about what kind of zones you want. Like, what do you need that space to do for you? Are you storing camping equipment? Maybe you're storing holiday decorations like Maddie was, or you need a space to keep your projects so that they're accessible so you can keep working on them, or a place to store those random hardware parts, for example. So think about what you need your space to do for you. That's the first thing, is to think out those zones. Sometimes we maybe have too high of expectations. We want our room to do 12 different things, and that might not be possible. And we might need to rethink how we can utilize other rooms in the house, or kind of retool our expectations for using the space. Connie comments in the chat, I see you use open baker racks. Is there a source for covers over the racks that would allow the items to be hidden? That is a good question. I'm opening that up to anyone who's attending here. I
They
wanted
have them
to,
on Uline in various different sizes. They have clear ones and solid ones in case you don't want to see what is underneath the cover.
oh, thank you, Jess. That's great to keep the dust out too, especially for folks who maybe need to store items made from fabric like clothing or backpacks or luggage, different things that you want to protect. Great question, Connie. Thank you.
I
So,
have a follow-up question.
yeah, go for it.
Yeah, I did go to Uline, and I have the baker racks out on a patio. So I needed something that would protect it from the weather. And they really didn't have anything that fit the bill. And I kind of had to jerry rig something, so I was hoping that there might have been some resource besides Uline. Plus, even though I got off of their mailing list, I get a 600-page, 8.5 by 12 catalog every year as if I was purchasing for a large organization, and I can't get off their list.
We do too, and it's hard to get off the list even if you call. And I've also since learned that we are certified LGBTQ BE, which stands for Business Enterprise, and I don't mean to get political, but I have learned that they're anti-gay. And so we're pivoting away from purchasing from them and finding alternatives. Like Costco has great baker's racks, for example. But Connie, I'm happy to do a little bit of research for you to see if I could find something that's more waterproof for your outdoor storage rack and send you some links, or regardless, I'll close the loop with you and let you know if I'm able to find anything.
That would be great. And I could send you some pictures of what I've currently got.
Yeah, and the size would be helpful to know.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Making a note to myself. Susan says, I get my racks at Costco, 2 exclamation points, sorry, 3 exclamation points. And then, yes, we're going to spell Uline in the chat. I'll put it there. They do a lot of industrial and office type supplies. So I think this is another basement where it really wasn't accessible or usable before. And then this is the after pictures, kind of more of an in progress one, but you can see that the space is clear. They made a lot of decisions, did a lot of right sizing, and you can actually walk around. Next slide, Jean. All right, here we go, the attics. This is a big attic clear out that we did. I think it took about 30 to 35 hours to do this attic. It was quite large, I'd say 1.5 bedroom and pretty full floor to ceiling. And the couple had lived in the home for about 60 years. So there was quite a bit that was stored up there. And the critters had gotten in as well. And Jean, if you want to show the next slide, please. So this is one of our team members, Karin, who many of you know, and notice that they're wearing a P100 mask, so protective gear to protect them because of hantavirus, which can be found in rodent droppings. So when you're organizing your creepy crawly spaces, please take safety into consideration and make sure that you have the right protective equipment. You can learn a lot by going to the CDC website or just doing an internet search for, how do I protect myself against XYZ? You can look up hantavirus, things like that. Also, just we've had one of our haulers, there were wet stairs going down to a basement, and he slid on the wet step and sprained his ankle. So be careful about stairs. We've also had broken stairs that we've almost fallen through, especially the ones in the garage for the attic that pull down and they're in multiple pieces. I call them the scary stairs. We actually don't allow our team members to get on those unless and we've tested them out and they're absolutely safe. We would rather get a really tall ladder than use those pull down stairs. Does anybody else have any other safety tips for attics and basements, storage units, and the like?
You said protective gear, but I think specifically gloves of some sort are a good idea. Because a lot of times you're kind of poking around, you can't really see what you're grabbing. There could be droppings that you didn't notice, or there could be a nail somewhere in the crawl space that you didn't see. And if you have work gloves on, it's just a little bit of extra protection to try to keep you from getting hurt or germy.
Yes, and closed-toed shoes in case anything falls on your foot. We have
How
had
about
that.
fans to exit the air? Using fans to exit the air in the area.
That is an idea. Hantavirus it lives in the dust and the feces, so we actually don't want to stir it up. You don't vacuum and you don't sweep it, and I think the fan would kind of create that swirling effect
Oh.
too. So I think it would depend on your situation, but if it's a stuffy, hot room, absolutely. We recently organized a client's closet that was up on the third story of her home. It was a converted attic, and without that fan in the window, there was no AC in the house. It was an old Portland home. We would have been really miserable. So I was so grateful to have that fan.
Thank you. Good ideas that I hadn't thought about. Thank you.
Yeah, and Susan shares, I had a hoist installed so I didn't have to carry anything on the stairs. Super smart. I love it. Other people have laundry chutes that they can drop things down as well. And Gilia, I hope I'm saying that better with a softer G, says that I've brought in my own clip-on lights and extra power strips. Super smart. There's also motion detected battery operated lights that you can put in closets and attics and places that maybe you don't. Oh, thank you. Pronounced like Jillia. Okay, thanks. So that you can, when you open the door to the space, the light will come on, and that helps with safety as well. Next slide. So this is the end result. We were cleaning out the house to prepare it for sale. I don't know if we have the final photos once the house was flipped and listed, but you wouldn't even recognize it. It was like night and day. Next slide. This is the same attic, just the other half of it. And you can kind of see the stairs here. The stairs were very narrow and steep, and you can see the railing is kind of coming apart on the right-hand side there. So that's something else to be aware of when you're going into attics and basements. Just make sure that your path is secure and that the railings are secure. It's not worth risking a fall for sure. Thank you so much, Jean, for showing our slideshow. Does anyone have questions for us? Or do you have a specific challenge in your attic, your storage unit, or your basement? Okay, we have a question from Jillia. Heavy items like artwork that need to be moved and taken somewhere when it's just you, how do you do that? Definitely safety is a consideration. We have a trusted hauling partner that we're happy to recommend. His name is Harley, and he can bring a helper and he can move items within your home. I'm happy to connect you with him. Jean, could you please put Harley Olson's contact information in the chat? And Deborah, you're most welcome. Elizabeth, I'm so glad this has been inspiring. And you just need the energy to get started. Oh, Julia, you're in Seattle. Okay, let us do a little research and see what we can find. We have organizing colleagues across the country and across the world that we're connected with, so we could see who their trusted providers are for you. I'm happy to reach out and do that. We have a colleague in Seattle who's been in business for 25 years, so I'm sure she has some trusted folks. Emily asks, are there places to donate nails, screws, as well as old tools? Yes, absolutely. Habitat for Humanity Restore has several locations. You can donate those things. There's the Rebuilding Center, Reclaim It in North Portland, for example. There's quite a few places. There's local tool libraries that might take your items. Does anyone else know of any other places to donate old tools? And yes, Susan, our hauler's name is Harley Olson, and I'm going to ask Gene from our team to put his phone number in the chat. We will also send a follow-up email with resources to everybody and a link to the replay video. Kathy seconds Restore and says it's great. I want to go back though to Elizabeth, who says that she just needs the energy to get started. We do have a free Right Sizing Rockstars group that meets once a month. It's the second Monday of each month from 12 to 1 p.m. And again, it's free and it's a great place to come for non-judgmental support and inspiration and encouragement. So you can come, and it's a smaller group. Some folks here have come and can maybe speak to it, but you can share what you're working on your project and then set goals for the next month and come and report back the next time. And if you're stuck, you can ask for resources. We share solutions and ideas. It's a really great non-judgmental supportive group. It's called Right Sizing Rock Stars. And the next one is going to be Monday, September 8th from 12 to 1. And we'll put the link in the chat and in the follow-up email. So if you want to register, you can. You get our free Right Sizing Rockstars workbook, which is a 66-page workbook to right size your home room by room. And you also, for every month that you attend, you get entered into a drawing in December, and we're going to, the winner will get a 3-hour session with 2 of our organizers. And if you don't live in the Portland metro area, you will get a virtual session with us. Yes, Amanda, please go ahead.
Yeah, I've found that group really helpful. And something that Whitney said in one of the first ones that I went to was to set a realistic goal. And that's what we tried to do. So Whitney told the story of a friend of hers who was trying to use the exercise bicycle for an hour a day and just, never managing it. So as they talked, she said that they eventually got down to that the friend could do 3 minutes a day. And then of course that then led to getting more. And I've just been really mindful of that as I've tried to get stuff done. It's better to do a little bit than just get overwhelmed with it. And eventually I'm finding that it is getting done. So I'm finding that group very, very helpful.
Oh, thank you so much, Amanda. I'm glad that we call that finding your on-ramp. What is that threshold for you? And you notice too, we all have different thresholds as far as levels of organization and structure too. Maddie says, I just want to put the sticky note on it for the project. I don't want to date it. I don't want to give myself a deadline. And Justice color coding and date, doing all these other things. So we all have different structures that work well for us, and that's 100% fine. Everybody's different. We need to find our own on-ramps for various things. Any last questions from folks? Does Rosehaven take material donations of clothes and toys? They do take clothing. Check out their website for criteria. The biggest thing is the dignity test. Does it pass that test? So ask yourself, is this something that I myself would want to receive if I were in somebody's shoes, if I were houseless, if my home was insecure? And is it something that I can wear on my body today? So we don't want to donate puffer winter coats right now. We're not in that season yet. Hold those off for a few months because they don't have a lot of storage. And we have actually helped organize part of their basement that they have. They have a full basement where they store different things. I don't believe that they take toys unless they're new, Marion, but please double check their website and you can see what their greatest needs are too. Every Monday on Instagram, they post their greatest needs for that week. I did want to share a couple more announcements. Next month for Ask the Organizer, it will be the first Tuesday of the month, October 7th. We're going to put this all in the email too, so don't worry. 5 to 6 p.m. and we're going to focus on garages. So please bring your questions about organizing garages. We'll go into that. And then I'm really pleased to share that our 10-year anniversary as a small company is coming up in October. So 10 years, it's going to be on October 10th. So 10-10-10. And it's going to be a fundraiser for Rosehaven Women's and Children's Day Shelter. They also support minority genders. They serve over 200 guests per day. They serve over 400 meals per day. They offer showers, mental health care, clothing, and they just do so much for people who are houseless in our community. And so we are honored to partner with them, and our event is going to be a Halloween party. You can feel free to come dressed up and in recycled materials. We're encouraging costumes made from recycled things or upcycled things. There's going to be a raffle. There's going to be a silent auction, some fun dance music, and food and drink. So I hope you'll join us on October 10th. It's a Friday from 6 to 9 p.m. and it's going to be in Northwest Portland at Rosehaven. We'll also send out a link for that if you'd like to join us and celebrate with us. Thank you, Kathy, so much. Appreciate you coming. Thank you, everyone, for coming. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your evening.